Hello, 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 and good afternoon, ladies and any gents which are deciding to join us. My name is Naomi Newland, and I am a hypnotherapist, solution focused psychotherapist, and the organiser of many inspirational events for women in the West Sussex area. The big exciting thing I have up my sleeve is our first Women's Wellbeing Festival, which is happening on Saturday, 6th of October at Field Place in Worthing, in some beautiful barns and pavilions, where we have a wonderful range of about 20 different experiences, activities and workshops for women to take place in all day. Everything from flower crown making to yoga sessions to women's health to very exciting opportunities to meet with some authors who've written very funny books. We've got a comedian, just all kinds of really exciting, uplifting stuff. Our intention is for women to leave feeling much less stressed, much more in love with themselves, and feeling uplifted and motivated to live fulfilling, exciting, gorgeous lives. Now, as part of the run-up to RestFest, I have been interviewing all of our guest speakers to get a bit of a flavour, a bit of a taste of what they're going to be chatting about at RestFest on the 6th of October. And I attempt to share my screen with them. And this is the technical challenge. We've just had round one with Anja, trying to discover her messages about women's health. And in particular, Anja is very passionate about the pelvic area of our bodies and the effects that understanding Sarah better can have upon our general well-being. Now, I can see that Anja was on the screen. Bear with me, people. We have a technical gremlin. She was there and now she's gone. And I can't invite her to share my screen again. Oh, puzzling. Saying I've got... Oh, there you are. Hold on. Yes, it's happening. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We've got this. And it's by the power and the magic of technology.
It is happening.
Yes. Sorry about the little bit of stress there, but take two, we've managed it.
Yes, we are on.
Welcome.
Fantastic.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the build-up to RestFest.
Oh, just one more technical issue. I got a delivery, but I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay. So, Anja has a delivery. I'm expecting my school children home any moment now, and they probably won't know I'm on a live call too. So today's chat could be full of interruptions. But hey, it's real life, and that is how we roll at You Flourish. We're all busy women, and we have a lot of commitments. And that's why we all need a bit of a break every so often, a day where we can just cherish and treasure ourselves.
Oh, I knew, just before we went on the call, I got the message, saying, we are 4 stops away. And I thought 4 stops can take 5 hours. It can also take 15 minutes. And it took about 5 minutes.
Oh, bless you.
But I got my delivery. So we are here. Sorry about
Brilliant.
that.
That's fine. We all need our deliveries. It's a pain when they don't deliver them.
I know.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. So it's an absolute delight to introduce you to my audience, Anja. We're going to be getting to know you a little better. I'm just fascinated by women's stories and their journeys, as how they come to be in a position where they have so much passion to share that's so important to women's overall well-being. So we'd love to get to know a little bit more about you, as well as discover some of your wisdom about the workshop you're going to be running at RestFest in a few days' time, or 10 days' time or so.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Anja. Tell us what you do and how you came to be on this path that life has offered.
Okay, so I guess kind of my official titles would be that I'm a yoga teacher and I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner, and that's something I've been doing for 13 years maybe, as a full-time kind of practice. And I always loved yoga. I always loved, I guess, the kind of I don't like to say alternative therapies because it's complementary, but I always had an interest in that. And I always been working with herbs or essential oils or massage, whether it's me offering it or managing clinics or retail outlets that were dealing with that.
Lovely.
Yeah. And then I've been practicing yoga for maybe 20 years and just loved it. So eventually I became a yoga teacher. And I'm kind of going towards the whole pelvic area, which is kind of my passion. Because when I was teaching yoga, a lot of the women, because mostly it is women coming to yoga classes, they became pregnant. And I had no idea about pregnancy, absolutely no idea what's going on. And I started studying more about what is going on in a pregnant body. And from that, what happens postpartum. But what I'm really passionate about when it comes to the pelvis and the pelvic floor is it's sparked by that training and the research I've done and the experience I've had with pregnant women. But I really want to emphasize you don't have to be a woman to have pelvic floor issues. And you certainly don't have to have given birth or been pregnant to have pelvic floor issues. And I think sometimes we always think the association is, oh, if you had, 3 children, all kind of vaginal births, then you have pelvic floor issues. But that's not necessarily the case. And actually, yeah, I think it's just kind of, if we haven't had children, we don't even think about it. And sometimes when we don't think about it, it's not because everything is perfect. It's just that we never really connected to our pelvis or the pelvic floor. So my my mission, if you like, is for everyone to reconnect to their pelvis and their pelvic floor, and specifically women. I'm more experienced with women, and starting to actually understand our own body, because most of us are we have no idea. Like, we have no idea what goes on down there. But really, it's just, yeah. And I guess my kind of practice started because I was seeing so many pregnant women. And as a yoga teacher for a long time, that was my speciality. I was seeing, most of my classes were prenatal yoga. My privates were pregnant. And I created and taught on a pregnancy and postnatal teacher training course. So everything was around that. And then when you teach pregnant women and postpartum, you focus a lot on the pelvis. And so I started, all the time I was practicing pelvic floor practices and exercises and realizing in my own body how little I actually knew before. And then started to think, actually, I'm a yoga teacher. I enjoy working with the body, and I don't really know that much. So so that's and that's what I experience when I teach other women, is that we are pretty much disconnected until something happens where we do need to bring some kind of awareness to it.
Oh, so we're all walking around disconnected from our pelvises, which, yes, I can agree and acknowledge and relate to that. So why is it important then that we have this better understanding? What benefit is that going to bring for us?
Well, I think the whole pelvis, it's kind of the middle of our being. Between our feet and the crown of the head, we have the pelvis, and I have the pelvis here. You can see the pelvis. So it's literally, it is the middle. This is the pelvic girdle. So we have, the thigh bones and the feet moving down, and then we have our torso. This is part of the spine and the head. So it is our center. So everything we do when we move around really comes from the pelvis, or it should do, because that's our center. And because of how we move our bodies, or we don't move our bodies, we have a lot of tightness around the pelvis. And I know you've been speaking to yoga teachers already, and I think anyone who's been to a yoga class and done any hip openers or stretches around the hips, they are like, oh, that's a lot of sensation. And it's generally because we just sit down, so our hips are flexed. And many of us slouch, so we round our back. And it means that a lot of the muscles around the pelvis are either very tight or there's no flexibility or strength to them. And the pelvic floor can tighten. And that can create a lot of problems. So the specific pelvic problems is just pelvic pain and pelvic discomfort, incontinence, and that can come from too much tightness in the pelvic floor. Even things like prolapse can be because there's too much pressure. And if we have that kind of rounded posture, we all sit up proper. Then we can have digestive issues. We can't breathe properly. So it's really the overall health and well-being. So even breath and digestion is connected to how our pelvis is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And, I know for a lot of us, when we think about pelvic floor, we're like, oh, we want a tight pelvic floor. We want a tight vagina. We have, it's like, yeah, we have to feel the burn. And we need the strength as well, but we do want the flexibility too. And that's kind of my, what I want to share in the Rest Fest is how to connect to your pelvis so you can actually feel the pelvic floor and the different parts of the pelvic floor around the pelvis, and then notice where you have tightness and maybe where there's not a lot of sensation, and maybe you need to strengthen that a bit as well.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a class about getting to know your pelvic area, as well as doing some meditations, I believe, some pelvic related meditation, and getting to understand that part of your body and how it feels. And is that right?
That's absolutely correct. I do want to do some anatomy, just not like a big anatomy lesson, because then I'll already lose kind of, everyone's like, oh, we don't really want to know. But I think I love anatomy, and I think, because a lot of us are not aware of what goes on in the pelvis, if we are a bit more educated, then we can take responsibility for our bodies.
Gosh, yeah.
So I do want to do that, and we can do that. I'll bring the pelvis along with me, but also through meditation, so we can connect on a more energetic level. I think our womb wisdom, we have so much power in our pelvis, not just from the pelvic floor, but just the energetic of our womb, our monthly cycle. There's so much there that most of us anyway, in our daily life, we don't take time to connect with. We're so busy that we don't really feel anything. So I do want to share some meditations to kind of feel that power. And it's open for everyone. So if women have had any parts of their reproductive system removed, the energetics are still there. So you can still kind of access that energy.
Wow. Yeah, I love what you said there, just about us all being so busy, we're just all growing blinkers on, aren't we, working in same old patterns, because it's easy and efficient for us to go around kind of the speed of our lives. And just, I think that's what Rest Fest is all about, really, for me, is that encouragement for women to slow down and connect with their inner selves, their inner wisdom. Some very specialised workshops about different areas and how we can find our true sense from there.
Absolutely.
That is,
and you have some Yeah, and you have some amazing people coming. And I was listening to Megan, who talked about the menstrual cycle as well. And I really feel there's so much there that we have to be busy all the time, and we have to be efficient all the time. And there are times where we are more energetic or more sensual than other times, and there are times when we just need to rest and hibernate a little bit. And and it's that acknowledgement when we start to listen to our pelvis, we get that wisdom. But because we're all in our heads and not in our pelvis, then it's difficult. And even when we think about receiving pleasure or sensuality, if we are all in our head and we don't have sensation in the pelvis, then that kind of is disconnected as well. And I know, when we talk about the pelvis and the pelvic floor, there is the whole thing. I think incontinence and sexual pleasure are kind of the two things that it's like, oh, that's where we start to want to do something about it.
Motivating.
And
Yes.
it's like, now I have to do my Kegels. And it's, and I think and this is where we have to get the balance, because if we just do Kegels, then we tighten something that might already be imbalanced. So we need to kind of stretch out and relax as well, and find that way to release the pelvic floor. Because tight muscles don't have the same blood circulation. We don't really get the same response. So tightness is not, it's not going to give a lot of pleasure. Strong, flexible muscles, yes, but a tight contracted body, including the pelvic floor and the vagina, is not going to give a lot of pleasure. And I think when we start to become more aware, then we get more sensation. Yeah, so a little
Wow.
bit of pleasure as well.
Yeah, who doesn't want some of that? It's going to be fascinating, Anja. It's going to be really, really amazing. So tell us, what is it you're most looking forward to about Rest Fest? I am like off the scale excited at the moment.
I know.
Coming to fruition. What are you looking forward to about the day?
I'm just looking forward to just being in an environment where all these wonderful women, just the women who are attending, the other speakers. I'm going to attend some talks and workshops too, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I think, when women come together, not that it's kind of exclusive, but I do think when there's an intention, when people come together with a specific intention, magic can happen, things change, and it's really powerful. And I think, like we talked about before, everything is so busy. And the time where women would come together during their menstrual cycle or their bleeding, and just kind of being together as women, then there are other things that happens. You communicate together in a different way with a different intention. And I think Rest Fest, that's what, for me, it kind of symbolizes that thing of women come together, we can change things, and step out of the busyness.
Yes, stepping out of the busyness. The whole day is about just an opportunity, an invitation to come and slow down with us, to just take some time for yourself. It's a big treat to come and take some time for yourself. It shouldn't be a treat, but it really is with modern day living, I know. And to enjoy that communication, the connection, and the magic that is absolutely going to be happening. It's going to be super special. Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, Anja. That sounds exciting. You've got me super excited about the magic of the pelvis. So this is going to be a very busy workshop, I can tell. If anyone has their tickets yet, they're still available at www.restfest.co.uk. And there's 3 different types of tickets. We've got gold, silver and bronze to suit all kinds of budgets. Now, I just want to make one thing clear, that the silver and gold tickets go off sale on Friday at midnight. So if women are thinking about getting those upgraded packages, they need to purchase by Friday, because we have some arrangements behind the scenes to make that all happen on the day for you. However, if you want to buy bronze tickets, which are our entry-level tickets, where you get to go to all of the workshops and you get a phenomenal goodie bag, then those are available right up until the day of the event. So if you haven't purchased already, hop over, have a look at the RestFest schedule, which is all on the website. Thank you, Anja. Where can we find you? If people can't make RestFest, where can they look you up to find out more? I know you've got some online courses and things, haven't you?
I do have online courses. So I have a course that's called sacredpelvis.com. So sacredpelvis.com. That's kind of an in-depth course on the pelvic floor. But if you're just curious and if you can't make it to RestFest, then I have some short videos, which is on yogaembodiedonline.com/videos. I can put that on the notes.
Yeah.
And you can sign up, and I'm sending some videos with a bit of education and talk about the pelvis and the pelvic floor. But kind of my general website is yogaembodied.com. And that's kind of where most of my things are. So my yoga classes. I see clients in Worthing now as well, both for yoga, but also for mostly feminine health. I do vaginal steams or yoni steams. And that's nice and relaxing for the pelvic floor and for reproductive system issues as well. But that's, Yoga Embodied Online. And then I'm Facebook, Instagram, all of those things. Yeah.
Yoga Embodied.
Yogaembodied.com. If you do have specific questions, for RestFest and you're too shy to share it, then, send me a message and just say you're coming to RestFest. And if it's kind of appropriate for the talk, because obviously it's not a whole day workshop about the pelvic floor, but if it's appropriate, then I can kind of weave it in somehow.
Good. That sounds amazing. So get in touch with her if you've got anything confidential that you'd like to share with her that she can weave into the workshop. Look her up on Yoga Embodied, Sacred Pelvis, and workshops as well as yoga. And join us at RestFest to get a taste.
Yeah,
of
definitely.
This. We can chat one-to-one with Anja, I'm sure, outside of her workshop too. Thank you for
I'll be around definitely, so you can definitely catch me there as well. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm so thrilled to have you on our team. It's going to be life-changing, educational.
I think so. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Naomi.
All of these videos go onto our YouTube channel as well. So RestFest has a YouTube channel. So if you've enjoyed Anja's chat, have a look at all the others and you'll get a real taste of what it's going to be like at RestFest with all these amazing women. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.